A few years ago, the richest man in the world stood up and described his big plan to reinvent the internet. One app for messaging, payments, shopping, banking, your whole life online in a single place. He called it the everything app. People treated him like a visionary genius. Except that app already existed, and for almost 10 years. In fact, more than 1 billion people in China were already living inside it. It's called WeChat, and Elon Musk hadn't invented anything. He had described something Chinese engineers shipped while Silicon Valley was still arguing about whether it could be done. We've been told a comfortable story for decades. The West invents, China copies. That might have been right in the 1990s, but most people never updated the file. Today, it's the West that copies China, and I'm not talking about TikTok. That one's too easy. I'm talking about the toy grown adults are queuing overnight to buy, in 20 countries at the same time. The way you watch a total stranger sell you something on a live stream. The drones that shot half the movies you've watched this decade. By the end of this video, you'll see how much of what you use every day was built in China first, and why assuming the West will always be one step ahead might be the worst idea you still believe in. My name is Bertrand, and I've spent 26 years in this part of the world watching the stuff most people only read about months later. If that's the kind of insights you're looking for, hit subscribe. Let's get TikTok out of the way since I brought it up. Everyone knows it's Chinese. Except almost nobody can tell you what was actually copied. Guess what? It has nothing to do with dancing. Short videos were not new. Vine had them, and it was bigger in America than people remember. The thing ByteDance built in 2016 was the feed underneath the videos, and that's the part that changed everything. For 15 years, your social feed showed you your friends. You followed people, and the app would show you what they posted, simple as that. TikTok threw it out. It decided you didn't need to follow anyone at all. The app studied what you spent time on, what you rewatched, what you skipped in half a second, and it learned to serve you the next thing before you knew you wanted it. That feed is the most valuable invention social media has produced this decade, and it was perfected in Beijing. The giants noticed and they panicked. Inside Meta, TikTok was treated as the thing that could actually end Instagram. In August 2020, they launched Reels, same vertical video, same algorithmic feed, built to bleed TikTok before TikTok bled them. Google answered with YouTube Shorts. Two of the most powerful companies rebuilt their own products around an idea they didn't have first. And they were not even subtle about it. Instagram pushed videos so aggressively that its own users started begging for the photos back. The mechanic now running the attention of billions of people was Chinese first, and Silicon Valley reverse-engineered it in a hurry. And it didn't stop at one app. In 2015, a man named Colin Huang started an online store in China that everyone said was pointless. The market was already locked. Alibaba and JD owned 80% of it, and going up against them was supposed to be suicide. Huang did one thing differently, and rewired how hundreds of millions of people shop. He turned buying into a game. On his app, Pinduoduo, you don't just drop something in a cart and pay. You get a lower price if you rope other people into buying it with you. Pull in a friend, the price falls. Share it in a group chat, it falls again. Keep dragging people in, and the number keeps dropping, sometimes close to zero. So every purchase recruits new customers for free. The numbers are hard to believe. Most platforms need a decade to move 100 billion yuan in goods. Pinduoduo did it in 3 years. In 2022, they took the whole machine global and called it Temu. You know the rest. At Statries, we run the accounts for people selling online. Last year, half the suppliers of our clients were the same Shenzhen factories now selling direct on Temu. It became the most downloaded free app in America for 2 consecutive years. Pushed by ads you couldn't escape. Now watch what Amazon did. In November 2024, it launched a separate store called Amazon Hall and copied Temu down to the details. They replaced their famous layout by Temu's grid of deals. The star ratings and delivery times Amazon spent 25 years teaching you to trust? Buried. The goods now ship straight from the same Chinese factories. 2 weeks in the post, nothing priced over $20. The biggest store in the world rebuilt a piece of itself to imitate a startup it was supposed to be crushing. I made a whole video about it. Go check it out if you're interested. By the way, you know what's funny? Now even Chinese habits cross over the same way. Watch how normal it feels these days to see a stranger on a live stream hold up a jacket and buy it before they finish the sentence. Amazon Live, TikTok Shop, Instagram, YouTube, all selling live shopping is the next big thing. It was already a several $100 billion channel in China, running on Taobao Live since 2016. And it's not just one industry. The same shift that hit screens and batteries is now hitting every corner of the economy. Right now, somewhere in the world, a grown adult is sleeping on a pavement to be first in line for a small plastic monster with a weird smile. It's called Labubu, made by a Chinese company barely anyone in the West could have named 3 years ago. I know what you are going to say, that it's just a Funko or one of those Japanese capsule toys. Yes, the format is old and borrowed. Japan was vending surprise toys back in the 1960s. The question worth asking is who took that tired idea and turned it into something the entire planet queues for? The answer is a Beijing company called PopMart. They quit selling other people's characters and made their own. Labubu came from the pen of a Hong Kong artist. In 2025, the company was worth more than Mattel, Hasbro, and the maker of Hello Kitty combined. This reaches far past toys. Open your phone and look at the wave of 90-second vertical dramas eating your screen time. All the apps running them, Real Short and Drama Box, are Chinese. Of the 50 biggest short drama apps on Earth, 41% use the same flag. Disney pulled one of them into its accelerator program. Paramount and Fox are racing to build their own. The biggest entertainment factories of the planet are now copying a format China shipped first. From there it comes fast. The drone that filmed half the aerial footage you've watched this decade was built in Shenzhen. The fast fashion machine that has Zara rewriting its whole playbook is Shine. When the boss of Ford wanted to know where the car industry was heading, he had a Chinese electric model flown to America. One of the biggest video games of the decade came out of a studio in Shanghai. The cheap copycat storyline is over. I see it every day. At Statries, we set up companies and accounts for entrepreneurs doing business in Asia. The ones still treating China as a cheap factory are the ones falling behind. Which leaves one very uncomfortable question. How does China keep doing this? Over and over. This isn't luck. America runs on systems it built decades ago and can't afford to break. Every big Western company is sitting on something that already makes it rich, and protecting that is the whole game. Picture a business pulling in a fortune from doing things the old way. When a faster, cheaper way shows up, the instinct isn't to grab it. It's to slow it down, because the new idea would kill the cash machine they're still living off. That's what Kodak did. And look at where they are now. China had none of that to protect. When the mobile internet landed, hundreds of millions of Chinese people had never held a credit card or sat at a desktop computer. There was no old system left to cling to. So the country jumped straight over the stuff the West was still chained to and built the next version first. Then there's the market they get to test in. A new app in China launches into a country of 1 billion people who already run their entire lives through a phone. So anything that catches on is proven at a scale no Western country can hand you. And the competition there is tough. For every Pinduoduo or TikTok you've heard of, 1,000 rivals died trying the same idea inside a year. Whatever crawls out of that is hardened before it reaches the rest of us. Chinese companies prefer to ship something half-finished and watch 100 million people hammer on it. That way they can rebuild it 3 times before a Western rival has wrapped up its first planning meeting. Over there, speed is survival. By now, you've probably got an objection ready. Fine, you're thinking, China makes the toys, the apps, and the cheap cars, but the hard stuff, artificial intelligence, that's still the West. That one is America's crown. After all, ChatGPT came out of San Francisco. The chips everyone trains on are designed in California. For years, building a world-class model took the smartest people alive and tens of billions of dollars. No way China closes that gap. In January 2025, a company nobody knew